25 Building Code Board of Appeals meeting. First business is roll call. Kathy?
Mr. Abathira.
Here.
Ms. Brooks. Here. Mr. Jezerman.
Here.
Mr. Friesen. Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Quorum present, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Next one will be the approval of the minutes of the August 13th, 2025 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll put a motion forward. Sorry, I'll put a motion forward to approve the minutes.
I'll second it. Kathy, vote, please.
Sorry.
Ms. Brooks.
Approve.
Mr. Jezerman.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Abathira.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Our next point is a hearing of the cases, and we're going to flip A and B. So we're going to hear B first. I have to someone put a motion forward to okay that. If someone would like to put a motion forward.
I can put a motion forward that reversing the cases for being heard today on August 13th, on September 3rd, that we are looking at the first variance as item B.
I second.
Kathy, vote, please.
Mr. Jezerman.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Mr. Abathira.
Yes.
Ms. Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, our first one is going to be a variance request for 5027 Shady Creek from Ashley Narayanan. Could you guys please tell us about that case?
The homeowner is here, and they do request to postpone. Can we have her come forward?
Can you come forward and just sign your name in there, and you'd like us to postpone till the next meeting?
Just till, the next meeting, please.
Does anybody on the board have a problem with that?
Do you have a different, okay.
Sure.
That's brand new. All right, so the applicant, Dominic, could you please tell us about the case?
Sure. So the case we have is a variance request for 2143 Alfred. The applicant, Tyler Hijazi, is here today, and this is for a fence code request. This property is located within the R1D zoning district, which requires a front yard setback of 25 feet along Alfred, where the zoning ordinance limits fence height to 30 inches within a front yard setback. The petitioner is seeking a fence height variance for the installation of a proposed new wood and mesh deer fence, which would be 6 feet in height and placed 1 foot away from the Alfred property line. The fence is proposed to run 30 feet along Alfred and return 24 feet back toward the house for a total variance length of 6 feet high wood and mesh deer fence of 54 feet in the Alfred required front yard. Of the total 91 feet of fence requested, 37 feet of fence complies with the zoning regulations and does not require a variance. I would like to inform the board that there is an enforcement with the city on this property as the fence has been constructed already, and that enforcement number is EN 2025-00558 for work without a permit.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Dominic or Salim on this? I have the first question is, it's already instructed. How did the city find out it was constructed? Was there a?
I believe an enforcement officer happened to see it. I'm not sure if they got called.
Just drove by and saw it? Okay,
I believe so.
all right. Anybody else have any questions for, no? Petitioner's already here. You already signed in?
Yes.
Could you tell us why you need this variance?
Okay, so how this fence went about. I had planned to do a garden, okay? In the backyard, there's trees and there's a pool. It wasn't an ideal spot, okay? And I had this empty patch of grass that I thought, oh, this is great. This is fine. This is going to work out. So I actually called the city and I said, well, first I talked to my neighbor and I said, I'm going to build this garden. And they said, well, you better put a fence up because we haven't had a garden because the deer just demolish our garden every year. So I said, okay. So I called the city, and I believe Mr. Dominic Abbott can attest to the fact that I did speak to someone who gave me verbal approval. They actually looked up my property, as you see it here, and I said, yes, the piece of land to the right of the driveway from the bird's eye view is where I want to plant this garden. And, you know, they say for a deer fence, you need 6 feet. And this is, you know, I'm going to make it wood and mesh. Very nice gentleman said, sounds great, sounds like a lovely garden. Diana. And so, not to give a sob story, but what happened, in Ohio is where I'm from, I had an ailing grandmother going through chemo, so I went to take care of her with the kids, and my husband, thinking he was doing something really nice, said, oh, I'll put this fence in, she'll be so happy. She, you know, I came back and I was happy, but I said, we didn't actually get the permit yet. And he said, but you talked to the guy, right? And I said, yeah, should be fine. Well, like a week later, we got the letter, and then I sent in the paperwork, and here we are. Now, I actually did make a petition, and I went around the neighborhood. Now, this includes all of the neighbors with direct eyesight of my front yard and said fence, as well as the neighbors in the surrounding area. I believe your copy of the petition has 30-some signatures, but since then, I've been able to acquire 41. And frankly, I could have gotten more, but just kind of exhausted myself on the matter, frankly. So, and to sweeten the deal, Telly's is having a flashlight sale tomorrow, and I was actually planning on buying arborvitae trees to plant in the front of the fence, which will screen it, you know, over time. That's
Okay, thank you. Does anybody on the board have questions for the petitioner? Your garden, it's not a typical, like a vegetable garden? Is it more of a different type of garden?
Well, the idea is to make it a potager garden, which is a French word that literally translates to soup pot. So you put vegetables and flowers in the hopes of attracting pollinators and natural pest control. So it's, you know, butterfly garden with vegetables. And the idea was to get the monarch butterflies to stop by on their way through. You can actually make a butterfly sanctuary official. You can do that.
Why is there not a fence on the east side of the property? Correct, it only comes down the side and across the front, right?
There's an existing fence there, and with a tree line. Are you talking about my neighbor's side? Yes. Yes, there is an existing chain link fence with a thick tree line, and I thought, it's not broke, I'm not going to fix it.
Okay.
That neighbor, in fact, helped me cut down a few tree limbs so I'd get more sunlight for my garden.
Before I ask her, she doesn't have to leave, I'm going to ask
Sure, go ahead.
over here first. So that fence that is constructed, the metal fence that's already there,
The existing fence?
the existing fence, that's a 4-foot fence on that and extends past the front,
It appears to be a 4-foot chain link, but I did not verify that.
so that we don't obviously have any permits or anything on that because that would have been past the front face of the, that's not within the setback. Am I
That's
right?
not within the set, that is within the setback.
That is within
It
the
is in the
setback.
setback.
Okay.
But that's her neighbor's fence.
We
My
assume.
fence meets it
The
perpendicular.
cyclone fence is not yours, it's the neighbor's.
Yes,
Okay.
but my fence doesn't extend beyond where that fence ends.
Yes.
And then I think my last question for the city here is just that the, where the wooded, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to detour from you, but the woods there, the tree line that's there, is there a special easement or something right there that wood line is there or
No.
nothing that you know of?
No.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else have questions for the petitioner? You can have a seat back while we discuss everything here. Thank you very much.
Does anybody want this?
Yes, if you could hand it to them, please. I thought it was in our packet. Before I start, Dominic, is there any letters from neighbors that either opposing or agreeing with us?
I do have the original sheet on the screen here is, now these are all that are in support of the fence,
Okay,
and these were submitted with the application.
okay. Has anybody emailed or sent out letters that are
I have
opposing
not
it?
received anything
Okay,
other than what she just delivered me. I haven't seen anything else.
okay.
We don't have any pictures of past the vinyl fence that's on the north side, correct? Along the garage side, the white vinyl fence, anything beyond that?
Yeah, okay, which-
We don't know what
no.
space is behind there,
In the rear yard, you're saying? Mm-hmm. Just from the overhead photos.
which,
Here, I'll go to.
Actually, if this is the picture you have, I have something to add.
Come on back up.
So the trees you see, where it says existing fence, and the other tree, those are gone, but where it says existing fence is where there's now a pool, and then where it would look like an obvious choice to put a garden on the left side of the picture. There's 3 huge maples there now, which would obstruct that.
Okay.
Hey, baby, go sit. Go sit.
They're fine.
Okay,
Don't worry. Okay,
that's all.
all right, thank you.
I'm sorry, is the pool an in-ground or above ground?
In-ground.
In-ground?
And
So we
there's
don't
a
have-
surrounding patio, and there's a deck, and then there's trees and a shed.
Is this the latest?
There are
Satellite photo.
permits for the pool and everything. I don't have an aerial image that matches that.
Oh, the pool is fully accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, I'm not questioning that, sorry.
I do have a question.
go ahead.
Was consideration given, correct me if I'm wrong, 30 inches would have been acceptable in this setback area?
That's correct.
Was consideration given to lowering it to that 30 inches?
A deer could walk over that, let alone jump.
It could still be fenced. All right, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any more questions for the petitioner? Okay, you can. Dominic or Celine, if this is approved, what's to stop them, and this runs with the land, correct? A 6-foot fence variance approved by us, runs with the land, it's always forever there. If 20 years from now, they sell the house, new homeowners come in, they want to put a white vinyl fence up, and since there's already been a variance for a 6-foot fence, would that be acceptable?
You could approve with limitations to the materials and visibility through the fence.
Can you put a time frame on it also?
It would be the first time I see that, but it could. I mean, you guys can set the limitations.
Okay.
Or even a covenant, that once it's sold, cannot be transferred.
I'm going to ask Dominic if you can bring up Google Satellite and bring up the address, because I just did as well. It's just, it's current with the pool and the trees, so.
What did you ask for now?
Google Satellite to look at I'm looking at it right now from our PC, so.
Okay.
Magic of the mouse.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
We're always a day behind Google.
What did you want to see, Matt, on that?
I'm looking at the backyard and the space that's available, obviously, based on where these maple trees are, and then if you're looking where that shed is and so forth, there's enough square footage that it doesn't have to be in the front. I just wanted you to see a true view,
I
per
got
se.
Obviously, the more sunlight in the front yard is why It's in the front yard, not in the
Mr.
backyard.
Chair, I cannot hear you if this is,
Okay,
if this is
that's all
discussion.
me.
Okay.
I understand.
You say that, but it's next to a tree line.
No, I
so-
know. I agree 100% with you there. Teresa, do you have any thoughts on this here? Well, I'll tell you what. When I first walked in there and I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, there's no way. Just with my first, as I'm looking at it now, if there was be a time frame, but I don't know if we can do that, of 2 years, 3 years.
If it was temporary.
Yes, I mean, I'd put, what really got me is there's 41 signatures on the paper.
I understand.
And they're all in favor of it. I mean,
I think that the hard time that I'm having with it, and just realize where I'm coming from, is just the permanent factor of the posts and the being sunk in and cemented into there. Like, there are other options out there from standpoints of installation of fences. I think,
yeah, like a snow fence post going.
yeah, they make post fence. I mean, they make wire fence posts that are metal that, are 6 to 8 foot tall too
Yes,
as well.
yes, sir,
Yeah,
they do.
yeah.
They're
So,
not very nice to look at.
no, you're right.
And I worked really hard. I stained it to look like cedar, and there are solar
Ma'am?
light caps on that,
Ma'am,
and I tried.
I'm sorry right now. If you could just let us talk about it first. I'll call you back
Yeah.
up before we're done.
Okay.
Okay? We don't get into a back and forth up here.
Okay.
I just think that the permanent factor of it, with the post being sunk, is where I have a little bit of a hard issue with. And I get you, I agree with, it's not unsightly or anything of that nature. I think that it's just the permanent nature of it is, and we always say, is the setting the precedence of how we look at this for the future. And looking at the satellite view, you have enough green space in the back to actually make this work too as well. So those are my discussion points for you guys, all three of you. I haven't heard from Chris yet.
Teresa, what, like,
I feel like the signatures show that the general characteristics of it are not opposed by the neighbors, current neighbors. I feel like it is not unsightly. But even at 6 feet, the deer can get over it. So I don't see why we can't do lower plantings at 30 inches and higher plantings at the approved 6-foot section of it.
okay. I have a thought on that.
Because
I have a thought on that. But Chris, do you have any
Can barrier
inputs
that.
on this?
I have less of an issue with this than I do with the concept of allowing a 6-foot fence in our front yard.
No, Mr. Wilson, I can't hear you unless you go into
Sorry.
the
So
microphone.
the pictures we're seeing, and the fence has been erected, is not as problematic to me as just the concept of a 6-foot fence in the front yard, particularly on a permanent basis. I appreciate the neighbor's support of this. I appreciate the concept. I think it could be an addition. I think there would be requirements. I think at a minimum, and I've seen this done before, this should not survive the transfer of ownership of the property. And I think requirements could be placed on any variance that while this structure remains, it remains at a certain level, 50%, whatever you want to call it, open to air, which I think if you have those requirements, it would prevent some type of a panel or the picket fence going around it, which would not be open. I think with those requirements, it's more acceptable. As a general rule, and I know this happens, and I appreciate the petitioner's comment on how this happened. We don't want to encourage people to ask forgiveness rather than permission. That's a bad precedent to set, and I appreciate the petitioner's explanation of why this did occur. But I think those two conditions would be a minimal for acceptance of this. That it has to have some level of openness to the sidelines, and it should not survive transfer of the property to a new owner.
Yes, Doug.
I'm not voting, of course, but I just wanted to make a comment. Two things to consider is, like Chris is saying, transparency, to maintain full transparency. Second is maintenance. I'm sure that you guys will take care of it, but we have to put that in writing, that maintenance is kept, because this type of fence has or is prone to, more damage through time. So that's just an observation. You guys, of course, are the ones that vote for it.
Okay. Teresa?
I looked at it, I see that there's netting up, but then I go back and read the request, and it does say a vinyl privacy fence. So what we're looking at is not what's proposed. Are they proposing a solid? Oh, I'm sorry, I read the wrong one. My bad. I was like, okay.
Retract what you just
Retract that.
said.
Yep,
Scratch that from the record.
I will.
thank you.
I think if we can call the homeowner back up, I'd like to ask in an effort to try to sway us a little bit that we could understand.
Hold on yet. I still have a few more things yet. I'm sorry.
Because I'm looking at it as like how we look at it from, like Chris kind of stated too, and what I'm saying, I think the permanent nature of a 6 foot in the front is
Yes.
scary. No matter, I understand everybody's petitioned and I know their effort, and I think it doesn't look unsightly in a way right now. But I agree. I think if we can, deer are going to jump over 6, they're going to jump over 4, they're going to jump over 30. But deer haven't, that
Deer want to go,
ability.
they're
But
going to go.
they're going to go. But with that being said, I would be, with the fact that there's a cyclone fence over here at 4 foot up to that wood line, I'd be okay with a 4 foot, lowering that into a 4 foot and keeping what she has there. But again, not having a transfer of ownership of that, but also keeping it
Okay, so
sidelined.
I have kind of a thought to go with that is she's going to a flashlight sale to buy arborvitaes.
Yep.
I'd have no problem if she wanted to plant, because she could plant arborvitaes in that whole area there, and they could be 20 feet tall.
Yep.
Right? And nobody can say a word, nobody comes to our board here.
Yep.
I like that she's planning a garden for, when she mentioned butterfly garden, I mean, that's the latest thing. In my developments, the boards want butterfly gardens, because the monarchs are a thing that we don't have. I wouldn't mind, I would not have opposed to giving a timeline of saying, you can plant your arborvitaes and let them grow for 2 or 3 years, and then the fence comes down to, I don't care if you say 4 foot or 30 inches. Or we can step it down over time if they would like. But I am not in favor of a 6 foot fence permanently in that spot. And I mean, I have no problem with the 2 or 3 years to give the bushes and trees a chance to grow. Just my thoughts, and I'd like you guys to comment on my thoughts on that.
The regulator in me knows that that's almost an impossible follow-through, that we do not have a mechanism at my agency to be able to follow through with something to that effect. And it puts diligence back on the city in the sense to, we have to follow up on this variance that was approved.
Well, how would we say it doesn't transfer ownership? How do we know the house was transferred ownership and this was in it?
We do a
It's the same
deed
thing.
restriction. Would be what we would do at my agency, I don't know, again.
Chris?
I think I agree with the concerns. I had one other question, I think for either Dominic or Celine. Could you go to maybe page 26 or 27? So I think petitioner has, I see the sample of the boxes, and if you go down, I think she has a kind of a sketch of where these would go. Would those planter box structures in the front setback be allowed under code as well?
Though, for what is proposed there, they would be considered landscaping.
Okay.
And the building department wouldn't have any regulation over that.
Okay, okay, thank you. I wanted to clarify that. I want to make sure we weren't overlooking that as well and have something else we'd have to address with the owners. Okay, thank you. Are you going to bring the petitioner back up to us?
Yes. You have a question for also? If you don't mind coming back up, please? Matt, do you want to go first? You want to talk to the petitioner?
Sure. Trying to word my question for you, so. Again, I'm not opposed to gardens, I'm not opposed to your fence per se. I think it's a beautiful looking fence, but I think that you have to understand from the city standpoint and why the regulations are there, that other homeowners that are either on your street or other areas of the city may want to come forward and ask, like, why can't I construct a fence 6 foot in my front yard? So that's why this board's here, is to really kind of look at those kinds of things. So, but with your fence and what you're asking for and so forth, I don't think it's far-fetched, but I wanted to ask if you would be able to consider lowering that fence down to 4 foot. Would that be something you could consider?
I mean, frankly, if I'm going to do that, there's no point in doing the project.
Okay.
It wouldn't stop the deer and the vermin, so I don't understand the gain. I mean, I understand the gain from your perspective for compliance, but I wouldn't be able to grow.
Yeah. I mean, deer can jump over that 6-foot fence right now, right?
A very large determined deer could. We get little
yeah.
doe and, little, I don't know what they're called, immature males.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
they're there.
I know, but I'm a Troy resident too as well, and I have a 6-foot fence in my backyard, and they come in my backyard all the time.
Well, they
So,
don't come in my backyard.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm just saying that they are able to jump the 6-foot fence, so it is possible. I understand the yearlings, the smaller ones are probably not going to do that, but yeah, I was just asking the question if you were able to kind of consider that.
Okay. Chris?
Would the petitioner accept a condition of removal of the structure upon sale of the house at
Yes.
your expense?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, Chris,
Unless the next homeowner wants to keep it, right?
no.
No.
No?
No.
I think the condition we discussed was that it would not survive the transfer of ownership, so.
Okay, sure.
I will tell you, I've been on this board for 20 years, and we've never had a fence in the front yard. People have tried for 4-foot fences in front yards, and they've been, maybe one got passed. I'm just commenting, so this is a very, very, very,
I did call.
I understand, but we can't look at what was called and what was told. It was like, we have to look at in the entire city.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm telling you, this is a difficult one. And, okay, is there any other questions for the petitioner?
One more for the petitioner. So, I mean, we don't have it up right now, but looking at the satellite photos that we have of your property, I mean, you've got a pretty large lot in the backyard, so your pool takes up, say, 1/3 of that in the particular lot in the back. I know you talked about the 3 maples that are sort of to the left of the house or to the west of the house, but you've got a pretty large space in front of I guess it would be a shed or something like that. Is there a reason why you don't want to utilize that space?
Yes. Not only, I mean, 2 and 1 on the way. So we've got the pool and we've got our patch of yard. Other than looking nice, pools are great, except you can't blink, right? You can't blink. You can't turn your back, okay? So I would say a large portion of the appeal of my garden fence is that it is a perfectly safe place to lock my kids outside with me. I don't have to worry about them drowning in the pool. And also, if we're worried about what's going on in my neighborhood, what would really be beneficial is a stop sign at that turn onto, I think it's Shoreline next to my house, because people go flying by at 40 miles an hour in a 25-mile-an-hour zone. So the front yard and the backyard have perils, and I thought I was really coming up with something great with this safe space for my kids. They got their excavator toys. She's excited about the vegetables. We have a composter. It was going to be a family project. So from my point of view, the backyard is not someplace I can face that direction very long, and I just thought it was a safe place.
Okay. Any more questions for the petitioner? We'll call you back up again if we need it. I did not bring it up that we don't have a full board today. We are coming back next month with the other case.
Jerry
I'm
postponed
sorry.
one.
I don't care if you didn't hear a word I said.
Were you asking?
I was just kind of bringing it up to see, but we are coming back next month with another meeting, right?
We will be, yes.
Because 2 and 2 is a failed is a failed vote, correct?
It has to have three,
Have to have three.
regardless of
Right. If we're 2 and 2,
4 or
it's
5,
failed.
3,
If
4 or
it's-
5.
If we have an odd number, if we have 5 and you need 3, it can either go 2 or 3, 3 and 2. Do you have any thoughts on that?
You want to open it up to the homeowner if they
Do you mind coming back up one more time? I did not ask you at the beginning of the meeting that we have only have 4 of the 5 board members here. It takes 3 votes to pass. So if it goes 2 and 2, and it's 2 yes, 2 no's, you fail. You have the option of coming back next month before we vote to have a full board. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to pass, not guaranteeing you're going to fail.
Chair, I also want to make a point, though, that the homeowner wants to rethink and reapply with a different
Yeah.
scope, then we would be open to
If
hearing that
that's
as well.
something you'd like to do.
Well, may I just,
Nope.
yeah.
Oh,
We don't know if it's a full board next month.
I'm sorry?
We don't know if it's a full board next month.
We don't know if everyone's going to be here next month, but
Well,
we assume so.
there's a very good possibility everybody will be here. I know,
Sir, this is the second time there's not been a full board for this meeting.
I'm only offering it to you. You know, it's your option. I just want, I want to give you the option.
Can I ask what would have happened if I hadn't shown up?
You probably would have got denied.
Right.
Okay.
No,
I
we
can't,
would, I mean, we would have heard the facts presented.
yeah, we would have heard the
can't-
facts, and then we would have voted on it. But you just asked me what I thought. I don't think would have, our 5th guy got called away on work yesterday. I mean, I can't help what happens there. I can't help what happens to any of us up at the board. We have 4, we have a full board. I'm just giving you the option if you want to wait. If you don't, we will go forward.
Perfectly happy to tear down the fence upon transfer of ownership. My neighbors have all expressed favor towards the matter,
Okay. All right. So you want to go forward?
and I would plant trees if you ask.
Okay, but you want to go forward?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I thought I saw Dominic moving the hand.
So, do, you say you could put it in a deed restriction, that the house sells, the fence comes down.
I know that when septics have to be restricted, that the county requires a deed restriction. If we have 2 different parcels and the septic lies over 2 different parcels, we have them deed restrict those parcels together, that until sewers are available, those parcels must be maintained as a unit. So that is my experience with it in my
Okay.
world.
Dominic or Celine, do you have any deed restriction knowledge?
No, my suggestion is just suggestions. We don't have legal representation right now. Would be to put it on the rules, if approved, that's under those rules, okay?
Okay.
The deed restriction, removal at sale, and we can ask for a notarized document from the owners, so we can keep a record.
Before you give a permit out?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so we, at our agency, they submit it, it's notarized, recorded, library and paged. They then bring it back to our agency to be able to make our approvals, to see that it's been recorded.
At this point, we haven't done the recording part, but we have done, just keep something in file that's notarized, but you guys make the call.
Okay. Chris, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Have you heard of the deed restrictions too, being in your position? For ownership change,
In a variant situation, I'm not familiar with that. I've heard private arrangement, if there's a structure that's in the wrong case, sometimes structures are over property lines, and that's how they will work it out amongst themselves through deed restrictions. In a variance case, I'm not familiar with that. I think the variance is binding, would still be binding without that. I think if it was recorded as that variance, then I think the city can still enforce that. But I haven't heard of a deed restriction tied to a variance granted. I'm not saying it doesn't
Not saying
happen.
it
I'm not
can't.
familiar with that.
okay. Yes, Celine?
The variance can also be given, from my point of view, subject to sales of the property. So once they sell, the variance disappears. We can get with that specific, narrative.
Okay. Did you guys understand that comment?
Yes.
All right. I'm still torn both ways. I'm like, we can put something together saying it's got to stay. What percentage is that see-through right now? 90%? You can see through?
Do we even know what the span is between post to post? It's not on any drawing,
It
right?
looks like 8 feet.
8 feet?
Yeah. It's 27 feet all
And
the way
they're,
across.
I mean, reading the method of construction, but it says 8 foot, 4 by 4, so I'm assuming they were put 2 foot into the ground. Is that
Yeah.
about?
Can I add, do we know if this has been inspected, or would it pass inspection? Would it pass our standards for a fence structure as it was constructed?
It has not been inspected because there is not a permit on it. And I guess just my best guess is that it very well could pass inspection. There's only a final that's required.
Okay. There's no,
They don't have to do a pre-inspection for the holes?
So what happens is that it's preferred for it to be below the frost line, but it's not necessary. The only difference is when it's not below the frost line, there can be movement on the elevation of the post and deformation, but in this case, it's minor.
Right.
So you guys don't do a post-inspection, or post-hole inspection?
Yes, we do, but in this case, because of how light
it was
the
already
fence
built.
is, it would not be a problem. What we would do here is physically push the post to see if there's any movement. Standard is like 200 pounds when pushing.
So if you leaned up again and it falls over, you're going to say,
Correct. Yeah,
you
we
need the
would-
problem. If
we
you're
would
just doing it
understand.
solid, you're going to
Hard
say
to
it's good.
see if it would resist it.
Understand. Thank you.
I think that's another notable point. This should be any, I'm not saying I would approve this, but if a motion is made to approve, it would need to be subject to final inspection, permitting and final inspection by the city. That would need to be a condition of the variance.
Right.
While the board is coming up with good caveats to the request, our responsibility is to review the request and not add caveats necessarily to it. Our job is to review the request as submitted.
What caveats are we adding?
The deed restriction, how see-through is it, and stuff that may be outside of our scope, especially when we're dealing with possibly, I mean, it sounds like we don't have to have a deed restriction. It could be taken up with the variance request.
Well, my only fear
But there's some add-ons that we're talking about.
is to make sure that's not becoming a stockade fence. You know, in 5 years,
Right.
the deer went through the chicken wire and we want to put a wood fence on there now, and it's there. And you
Right.
just say it because we granted a variance for a 6-foot fence in the front yard.
So does that mean that we shouldn't grant a variance for a 6-foot-high fence?
I don't know, that's why we're here.
I know.
That's why we're here. If things were easy, everybody do our job. I'm sorry, Kathy, you didn't hear that, did you? I was turned sideways.
You were turned sideways as well as Mr. Wilson. When you turn sideways, I cannot hear you either.
Apologies.
I should know the answer to this question, but if,
Sorry.
no, I'm okay. I know the answer.
How far is the fence right now from the setback? Do we have that?
I think it's
Or what's the,
property
The
line.
setback line?
yeah, so it's 25 feet, right? This is our setback, was our requirement, right?
The setback requirement is 25 feet, correct?
So how far does that impede on that setback?
And it appears that the fence is about a foot off the property line.
So we're 20,
It's 24
24 feet.
Correct.
And if I go,
There's no sidewalk?
no.
There's sidewalk
Is
on
that
the
pro-
south side?
Yeah, is that property line up to the curb, or is that property line?
No, here, let me go to,
I was going to say, there's a hydrant down the street on the north side.
can see the image on the screen. This orange is the property line.
Okay.
Then you go to the fence, and here's your setback line.
So we don't know what's that property line from the curb, do we know?
This here?
Yeah.
So the curb, I don't have a dimension on that. Is it, I can check if it's something you'd like to know.
I mean, it says it's a 60-foot right-of-way.
So with being a 60-foot right-of-way, the sidewalk would be 1 foot in Alfred's right-of-way for there. So the sidewalk wouldn't be beyond their fence.
Correct.
If there's ever a fence there, back of the fence to the sidewalk would be 2 feet now.
Thank you. That was what I was.
Dominic? No. Could I have the petitioner come back up? I just have a question for you. You said you came in and talked to Dominic about the fence?
No, I called.
You called. Did they tell you you needed a permit? I know your husband did it for you on a weekend. He surprised you and put the fence all in because you said it wouldn't be a problem. Did you know that a permit was required?
I'm trying to think. This was a long time. This was probably April, May. I mean, I don't know that we talked about the permit, but
Okay.
I know I called and said, is this project going to be okay?
Okay. I'm
But
assuming,
can I add, when I read the permit, I still thought I was in the clear because it doesn't mention anything about not being allowed to do this. It says, what's your material, what's your lineage, and how are you building it? So when I looked at the permit, I still thought that I wasn't going to break any rules.
your permit application?
Yes, when I got the letter saying I needed to fill out my permit, the permit doesn't say that I'm not allowed to have a 6-foot fence. In fact, it says I'm not allowed to have a 7-foot, over 7 feet. So I thought, oh, this is going to be fine. I'm not doing that.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Dominic, do our permits say you can't put them in the front yard, or is there, I'm trying to think when I get fence permits, or anybody who comes before our board, how do they know they can't build?
It is clearly stated in the zoning ordinance, and that is why these go through a plan review process, is where that would get where the plan review would notice
Okay.
the request and would deny at that point.
So they apply for a permit, they go before everything, you call them back and say it's denied because of the zoning, it doesn't work?
Correct.
Okay.
Dominic, can you go to page 14 on this? So, looking at the blue outline, I know this is a difficult part to see here. So looking at this for the board's sake and knowing where the setback is, it's pretty much about, I think, about 5 feet off the front of that south side of the house, right there. So really, if they were to set back that fence, and I want to say maybe that's 20 feet from where I saw where
The house itself,
yeah, I'm going to say that is like right there where your pointer is on that corner. No, to the left, there's the porch, sort of, right there. So that seemed to be based on your 25-foot setback, that's where the setback kind of lands,
this dashed line would be your setback line.
right there?
Correct, that's your 25 feet setback.
Okay, so we don't know we're assuming that that's about 20 feet then from where the front of that, on the south, that blue line, front of it, right?
In here?
And that would be about 20 feet is what we're assuming.
Correct, but that's also assuming the sketch
It's to scale.
is correct.
Dominic, who put the blue marker on that?
That would have been the applicant.
Okay. Matt, any more?
Well, I'm just saying that if we pushed it back to the setback and we said that this structure could sit at the setback, I got no problem with the setback.
Well, no, they wouldn't.
Then
be
they
here.
wouldn't need an
They wouldn't
application,
need an
right?
application. Yeah.
Yeah.
They wouldn't need an application, they can go back to the setback.
At 6 foot.
At 6 foot. They can go back to the dotted line, put a 6 foot on per per zoning ordinance and everything.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that much loss from that setback right there, but if I can see that right.
You've
I just
seen
think
it right.
like Teresa says, as the board, we can make proposals all day long. That's why we're giving the opportunity for the applicant to
Yeah.
revise this. But I think from the situation of where it's not unsightly, it's not I understand the whole need, but it's I always say it as a setting a precedence for everybody else and where we're at with these codes on these fences. So it's difficult, like you said, I think the city said too, we have no way of monitoring this for the future as well. So it's difficult, but I think that setback is not that far off, but that's me.
Chris, do you have any thoughts right now?
One question, I was confused. Go back to, I don't know,
Dominic?
the house that has the chain link fence, and you said that was compliant. Is that because that's a rear yard fence?
No, I didn't say it was in compliance.
Okay.
That fence seems to have been there for quite a number of years.
It may have predated the ordinance?
That is my guess, yes.
Do we know, is that a rear yard or the side yard of your neighbor?
That's a side yard.
That's a side yard.
That is the side yard?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Which is where all this, if I may.
Sure, come on, pick up.
That's where all the trouble came from, because the gentleman I spoke to assured me that this was the side of the house, and that was why it was going to be okay, because in both of our opinions, it wasn't the front of the house. Now, I understand that that's an opinion and not a fact, but that's what laid the foundation for the problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Information that I looked for. So
Yep.
he was asking about the distance from the curb to the line is 16 feet.
16?
Okay.
Yeah, and if I'm looking at this drawing that's up right now, Gary, I mean, if you look at this, I don't know, 135 feet, that's probably not too, that might be the lot line, right? The distance on the far side? Probably the whole distance, 135?
That would be the north-south property line.
135?
Front to back is 135.
Okay.
The width is like 160.
Yeah.
Dominic, let me just double check one thing on with you, is if they went to the dotted line, they could put a 6-foot fence straight across there, correct?
That's correct.
Even with the dotted line down the middle, right there on the.
That dotted line shows the house could sit in there with its 10-foot setback on its sides, 25 in the
Just wanna
front.
make sure.
So they came across there, they go straight to that cyclone fence, be good with it.
That's correct.
With that being said, I think they could add 3 posts, put a 6-foot fence across there, take the stuff that's out in the front yard, drop it down to 30 inches, and don't put vegetables in there so the deer can hop the fence, walk around, and not eat anything, and then have the rest of the garden behind the 6-foot fence. And it's only 1, 2, maybe 3 posts, and some 6-foot fencing in there. That's my opinion of what should really, I'm sorry, Kathy, what should really go in there. Because then 30 inches in the front, it's out of our hands. 6-foot at a 25-foot line, it's out of our hands. She can still have her garden and her kids can be inside that area. It might only be 30, 32 inches tall, but she'd have 6 foot further back and she'd have a safe area for the kids to be out in the front yard. And we wouldn't be denying anything. We deny it with, she could do that and have an option to get out of this and still have a 6-foot fence for, she could put the butterfly garden in the front where the deer aren't going to come in there and eat butterflies. And maybe put plants that deer don't eat in there. Yes, Dominic?
That proposal you just mentioned would comply with the zoning
The
ordinance.
zoning board, we wouldn't have to say do this, she has an option of if she gets denied today as to what she can still do without tearing down the whole thing and scrapping everything.
Yeah. If you go to page 20, for your sake, just so that we were referencing what he's talking about and how we are seeing this. So, because currently the fence is coming up to what we want to say is the property line at this point in the front. What the chair is asking is like, if you put your 6-foot fence and that, where the hand is on that picture right now, right? You see that post, that's, we're gonna guesstimate that's 20 feet back from your property line, and that's a
25.
25 feet. That if you went across there with your 6-foot fence, but then left, you could leave your post, but just cut them down to 30 inches on the front, or even put bushes in, you wouldn't need a permit to do any of that. You wouldn't be in front of, we're not voting on that then. That's, you can do that without any regard.
Permit would be.
Permit.
He needs a permit for the first?
Would need a permit, yes.
Still need a permit, sorry, I apologize. 6 foot within that for the front, but just bumping that 6 foot back 20 feet from the front, for your, you have a 6-foot fence, but on the front, you have a 30-inch fence.
Dominic, she could make that a solid wall too if she wanted, right? A solid fence?
For the
25
6-foot
feet back.
portion, 25, that's correct.
They could make it
Be
a
privacy
vinyl
at
fence,
that.
whatever they wanted, that you couldn't see through, whatever you wanted.
That's correct.
Okay. And the 30 in the front could stay as, she could cut it down, make the chicken wire in there, and I call it chicken wire, but the wire mesh,
Deer mesh.
deer mesh. Can you still do a 30-inch deer mesh?
Yeah, so what happens, materials are as approved by the building official, as long as they're decent and firm,
Okay,
yes, they would be approved.
okay.
Does that make sense to you? I'm sorry, why don't we
Come
call her back up?
on up one more
Yeah.
time.
I want to make sure that we're clear on what we're talking
So
about.
6 feet from the hand towards the house, and then 3 feet towards the road. Is that just the post or the wire as well?
The, I,
Without exact measurement, we're assuming that post, but it would have to be 25 feet from the setback.
she's asking if she can have 6-foot mesh on the 30-inch
It'd be
post.
25 feet from the property line in the front.
I just want to
setback.
verify that we're estimating that that post is the.
We're estimating that based on the drawing, so we're saying
25 feet
like we're
back.
on that post. That you run that, if you ran that across to the cyclone fence at 6 foot, but the rest of it in the front, if you dropped it down to 30-inch, then permit's approved, no problem. And again, as the
Hey,
chair
guys,
said, you can plant arborvitae's all you want on the front where that 30 inches is without any permit.
Yeah, you can plant any hedges you want up there.
It's okay.
Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
We
them.
got
They're fine.
grandkids. We have grandkids, man.
They do this all the time. They're like good, bad, you know, where
good and
they're
better.
cute about it,
Good and
but
better.
they're still being bad.
All right, you did understand
Yes.
what we're talking about? Okay. All right, you can sit back down. Does anybody want to put a motion forward, or is there any more discussion first?
I don't think that we can put it, we have to deny the motion that's
Yeah.
presented is what we
Right,
have to do.
I'm just saying, we have an option. She has an option. It's not like
She
we're
does.
saying rip everything all out and never have a garden.
So, right. So what we're, for the homeowner's sake, she understands that if we deny this, it's denied the way that it's proposed.
One last question. The 6-foot-high post, if they were to remain in the setback just as a post, could a 30-inch mesh be attached to it?
I'm going to answer that. So yeah, so I was thinking about the same thing. They can stay as an architectural feature. You could drop the railing to the desired height of the fence.
Okay.
And yes, that can stay as is. The railing will have to come down to a lower elevation, but the post can be considered architectural feature.
Okay.
Could you please come back up? Just want to explain one more thing. I mean,
You do
Sorry, it's up and down here.
understand.
I'm sorry. They just brought up a point. If you get denied today, you could put a 6-foot fence 25 feet back, still keep your garden for the deer in there. In the front, you can leave the post as they are right now, but you have to take the top rail and drop it down to 30 inches and cut that out.
Okay.
If you want, because you said you have lights on it and everything else. It would be an architectural. So just wanted to let you know what you can do.
Well, just to help on that subject, I would cut the post because it would be ugly if all I did was drop the horizontal posts.
We're giving you options.
All right,
Okay.
I am on your side of not making it worse than it is.
Okay, all right, that was just okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Anybody would like to put a motion forward?
Oh, boy. That's the hard part. Don't record that.
I would put a motion forth that the variance request for 2143 Alford be denied for the following reasons: that the characteristics of the property have not shown that a variance should be supported at this time, and that there are alternatives that would comply with the ordinance.
I'll second that motion.
Kathy, would you please take the vote?
Mr. Abathira?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Jezerman?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries.
You're all set.
So realize the denial is not the denial that you can't put a fence there. It's just what we just talked about, that you can drop that 30.
The denial is that she cannot put a fence there.
She cannot put a 6-foot fence there.
Correct.
But you can do what we just talked about with the 30-inch fence,
As long as she gets a permit.
as long as you get a permit. There's too many what ifs in here.
There are other options available to you. I'd suggest you work with the building department. They'll be willing to work with you.
I can't.
Your application as submitted could not be approved.
Okay.
Your variance cannot be approved. There are alternatives which we have talked about. I think we'd advise you to work with the building department
All right.
on those and get a permit before construction. Work with them.
How do I even put that on a permit? Like half my fence is going to be cut half?
No.
They know how to
These
do it.
guys work here every day.
You go in there tomorrow, and you'll have a permit tomorrow. How long will it take?
Processing time, maybe just a couple days.
Couple days, and you'll be all set.
All right,
All right? Okay, thank you for coming.
thank you.
Sorry about all the trouble there.
Mommy, I don't want to go home.
Our next business is communications. Do we have
Communication.
any communications? Nothing? Next line is public comment. See anybody in the public? There's nobody there. Do you have any miscellaneous business? Other than we've all met Chris. Chris will be new to our board. Anything else?
Kathy, did you have anything?
I do not have any.
Oh, I
No,
thought
thank
you might have.
Anybody else? Anything?
Our next meeting is October 1st, is that correct?
Possibly. Will that one come back? Do we know for sure they're coming back October
That's coming
1st?
back, we have, so for next month, right now, I have 2 fences and a sign.
Wow,
What's going on?
we're busy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
been a busy year.
A year and a half with nothing,
This
and
is
all of a sudden,
unusual.
2, 3 a week. All right, that's it. Meeting adjourned.